Stencil tutorial with practical examples. Welcome to Coding Loka, guys. This is Chandra Shwaryani. This is a playlist in what we are learning Stencil with every practical example. So in today's part, we'll see how in the last one we just created another component, and in today's part we'll do the communication between those components. Let me show you how. So let's suppose you click on this search it. We have the list of this data. This is coming from the API, the dummy API. Then if I click on this row, right, I want to pass the data from this component to that component. So this is what we are going to achieve in this part. But before this, I just want to make sure what we have covered so far in this playlist. We have seen that how we create the component styling. We have seen prop, state, watch, scope and shadow differences. We have seen two-way data binding, error handling, lifecycle methods, and we have seen how do we actually do the HTTP request with the fetch one. Then today we are actually left with these three parts. We'll try to cover in next couple of parts: child, sibling components, communication between components, and event and listener one. So let's focus on the implementation now. Open your code. You guys must be having the code, and if you do not have, you can simply get the code from the GitHub location. The GitHub location link is in the description. There are two things which you need to import. I'll directly jump on the implementation. So the first thing is you have to import this event and event emitter. This is my search word component. This is my this component, right? So here I have imported event and event emitter. Now next, what you want to click on the row and pass the data. So at first you have to create some sort of what we say event. So let's create that event. So how do we actually create an event? With the event sign. This is how you create the events. Now there are two properties you have to set it to as of now. Let me set it. We'll see later on. True. And after that you just need to give a name. So this time this is search word name selected. Keep it unique. Try to keep it unique, right? And after that it has to be event emitter, and which will take a type of string. That is all you have to do. Once this is done, you have to create a on row click event on this row. And how do we actually call? So we have to write on. We have seen so many times now. On click, right? Start the curly braces, and here you have to like this dot on row click, whatever the name of your method is, and then bind always. This is the always the first parameter, and after that you can pass this r dot name as a second parameter. Now let's copy this name and create a method here on row click, which is expecting a one parameter type of a string, and write it like here. Then you have to call this dot search word name selected event, which you have called, and you have to emit it. That is the only thing which you want to do. And you also have to pass the data, what data you want to send. Now whenever user clicks on this row, this event would be called and this name would be passed. Now there should be someone who must be listening to this event. And how do it will listen the event? Using this search word selected. So I have to switch to my another component, which is my cart.tsx, and again I have to import something at first, and this time I have to import listen, right? So this is the listen. With the help of this you would be able to listen. Now I can create anywhere, just I wanted to create just before the render method. So I have to make use of this listen this time instead of event. So now, very interestingly, we have to provide the same name of our handler, or of our event, I should say. So we have search word name selected. And after that, pass the second parameter. Just give me a second. Pass the second parameter, and that is target colon body. This is we have to do. And after after that, yeah, now we have to create a handler So let's name it search world name selected handler. You can name it anything again, handler. So this is the name you have to do. We have to pass this custom event. This is the string which we have seen here. Let me add alert called this method. That is all you have to do. So this is the listen one. We have added the handler, and this is expecting an event, which is a custom event type of a string, and I have just said called here. So do I need to do anything else? No, just save this one. And do I need to bring an event here as well? Let me see. I think I should. Where is my render method? No, this is still an issue. Let me see. Let me hover. Okay, it is never used. No problem. So we do not need to import this event. That's what I thought. So press Ctrl S, press the refresh, and see refresh. Okay, search it, click on any of the record, call this method successfully. So this is what we wanted. And now let me update the value as well, which we discussed in the last part. So remove this one maybe. And what you can do here, so maybe this dot username and bind this with event dot detail. This is something property which will give you the data. So again, refresh this and see, do we have the data whatever I have selected in the row, and I want to populate in the text box right now where you see the coding locker text. Let it refresh. Okay, click on search it, click on this record. We have the updated record here. If I click here, still have the updated value. Let me search for something else. Test security. We have this test security. If I update anything here, it is still getting updated. This is two-way data binding, but it will not be updated here. Now I want to show you one more thing. So here, let me add this alert one called. So what if I do not provide this target body? Will this be called still or not? We'll see that. And what's the exact purpose of this? We'll see. So the browser is behaving a little slow here, and generally Stencil compile is not that slow. Okay, so click on this, search it, and click here. This is called, and I think I have not refreshed. Let me refresh this, save this at first, and I have removed that one. Refresh this once again. Search it, call it. See, we don't have the call. But now if I go to this index.html, you can see this component is acting as a sibling. We have my card, we have search word. But if I make this as a child component, Control X, Control S, and go to this search word, my card.tsx, and inside that we have this render method, we have this main content, remember, and I can add this is child, child one, and let me paste it here, this one. And we have to cut this and paste inside root element, and the root element is our div. So let me cut this line as well, paste it here, save it. I have to save it twice, I think. Let it refresh. Now instead of the sibling, I have made that as a child component, and see what difference it makes. Okay, here we are. Click on search. It is still able to search. But what if I click on here? This value is still false, right? Without even writing the that. Let me do a control Z here and go to this my card and show me this one, target colon body, which I added to here. So this is the difference when you have the child one and the parent sibling one. So in the case of sibling, you have to write this as a body one. Otherwise, for the child one, you do not need to write this one. So that is all pretty much for this part. We have seen that how we can pass the data from one component to another component. The next part, and I think we'll now have to focus on the deployment one. That means we have to deploy this application to different applications. One is the React and another one is the Angular. So let's continue over there. Thanks for being at Coding Locker, guys. And if you guys have any query, any doubt, any questions, please do let me know. I'll be really happy to answer those questions. And please do subscribe Coding Locker.